Hello, my friends. This is Chef Ian Vair. We are here in the wild forest on the cusp of Vermont and upstate New York. A lovely treat for you today. I am the Mushroom Man. Stay tuned. You're gonna love this experience. This is our first episode of Mushroom Man. Wow. I've been looking forward to today for many, many, many days. And you will look forward to many more episodes of this wonderful experience. Every spring, I'm always awaiting a nice rain, lovely rain. And it's been raining for days. It happens to be May 1st. Interestingly, May 1st is the day year after year that we come to this beautiful land on the cusp of Vermont and upstate New York. So, I'm with a crew of friends today. We're going to be venturing into the woods. We're going to be having fun. I'm a fun guy. Any of us can be fun guys. Any of us can be fun, whatever we want, as long as we have fun. That's the whole reason that we're going foraging. Now, I say this, but beyond having fun, what are we doing here? We are finding food. We are finding medicine. Medicine that can heal us from the inside out, to balance our immune systems, to cast out all types of toxins. It's amazing. The Native Americans knew about it. Shamans in Europe knew about it. Unfortunately, our culture these days, the knowledge that we have is diminishing. And the reason I'm here today is to inspire, to teach, to give the knowledge that I have learned over the past 21 years of foraging mushrooms. Now, before we begin our adventure, I have many different tools that I will be bringing with us into the wild. Necessities that we need. The National Audubon Society Field Guide to North American Mushrooms. There are some that would say it's not very good. There's some that maybe would say it's outdated. And you know what? That's okay. There are dozens of mushroom manuals, field guides that we have available to us to use, to utilize in the wild. The reason I like this one is because it's tried and true. It has excellent photographs. It has a wonderful, wonderful cross-reference section. Make sure you have a field guide with you. Now, when I go mushroom foraging, and I suggest this firmly to any of my participants, anyone who's going into the wild, make sure that you bring nutrients. We need water. We absolutely need hydration in the wild. It's warm. It's a warm day. It's humid out. We could be out here for hours. So make sure you bring water. Make sure you bring some type of hydration with you. Very important. I also will bring food, high-calorie food. Today we brought almonds. We brought walnuts. I brought dried fruit and cheeses. High calorie. That way our body has an energy source to use slowly while we're here. Like I said, it could be many hours that we're here. Believe it or not, I bring a bear spray. I have never encountered a bear in the wild, but you never know. Better to be safe than sorry. Once upon a time, I was lost in the woods and I needed a flashlight. So, as a just in case, better safe than sorry, I like to bring a flashlight with me. Binoculars. Sometimes I will spy something colorful, something intriguing in the woods, and I like to look far away before I have to venture through the thicket and all of maybe a swamp or across a river to discover the type of species that we're looking to find. Binoculars. It's a good idea. I bring a pair of glasses. I'm getting older, you know, it's nice to be able to scrutinize what I'm looking at in a mushroom or my field guide. I also bring a jeweler's loupe or a magnifying glass. And something like this I have found to be essential. You know, the kids often think I look like a pirate. But, you know, beyond looks, you know, hey, I'm having fun. We're doing the best we can. Okay, so a jeweler's loupe, very important. Now, another piece of equipment, a tool that is essential, in my opinion, is some sort of a tick removal apparatus. And I have procured, and it's been something that I've used many times, is it called a tick key. Okay, so this is called a tick key, and I found this at my local pet store, Believe it or not, you can find them online also. And what happens with this, if you do discover a tick, is it will slide over the tick's head and you will spin it right off. Now, people say, oh my God, there's ticks in the wild, Lyme disease, I'm going to get sick. It takes 24 to 36 hours, okay, for Lyme disease to enter your bloodstream. So have no fear, okay? Have no fear. We're having fun, okay? When I'm finished all of this, I like to take a shower and check for bugs and things like that. It's a good idea. We've also sprayed ourselves down with a high quality bug spray. I also wear long sleeve, long pants, good boots, okay? I like to wear a hat. Bugs tend to be, they can be an issue at times, especially when it's humid on a day like today. And let's see, the last thing that I brought, and this isn't necessarily a tool, but today we are looking for the golden morel. And I brought an example of the golden morel. It's beautiful. It looks like a honeycomb Christmas tree. And where we are looking is in a dying wild apple orchard, coupled with dying elm trees. There are many substrates or food sources of the fungus. I have found in my own experience that dying orchards are perfect substrate. Elm trees, yes. Ash trees, yes. Oak trees, yes. Especially when you can find them together. Okay, today we're going to the orchard. I've been here year after year. Right now is the perfect time, the perfect opportunity. So, we're going to get started. Thank you everyone for listening to the information I've given you. Safety first, sustainability next, which we will be discussing as we find the species, okay? Reading our field guide, identifying factors, and as we're leaving our lovely farm that we are on today, I'm also a chef. We're going to be talking about why we're foraging, how we're going to be utilizing this beautiful mushroom that we have. And at the end of this segment, we're going to play a little mushroom magic with the camera, and you will find me in my kitchen studio cooking a lovely recipe. Stay tuned. Follow me along. Let's have fun. All right. Look at what we found. I'm so excited. The best part about foraging is it's fun. You get to be a fun guy. I am. So, we found them. The golden morel. A dying elm. Apple trees. Crab apples, to be exact. The beginning of May. And how do I know that this is what I think it is? Because there are lookalikes. Let's talk about this. Okay. So we have our National Audubon Society field guide. Let's see. The morel mushroom is towards the back of the photo section. Let's see here. Okay. Yellow morel. Okay, some of them are very yellow. Some of them are a bit gray, as it shows in the picture in the book. There's also a cross-reference section. I'm going to skip over to that to take a look at what it has to say. Almost there. It's a large book. Okay. Blonde to yellow-brown. Honeycomb cap with a whitish stalk. Its cap can be up to 2 inches wide. These happen to be about 1 inch wide. They can be anywhere from 3 to 6 inches tall. Quite large. Wonderful for a mushroom that you're going to be taking home to eat for dinner. White stalk, like I had said. Now, this is important because there are lookalikes. There are false morels. Many people say, I'm afraid of morels. there's an enormous difference between the false morel and the true morel. They may look similar to the untrained eye. No one can mistake the difference. Now I'm going to be using my knife to cut this from its mycelium underneath. Honeycomb shape, white stalk. We will be cutting the mushroom in half. A true morel is hollow. A false morel is filled with chambers, completely different. Completely different. False morel, some people eat them, and there is a procedure that must be undergone in order to eat them, but I do not recommend, particularly for someone who is untrained. So, the golden morel, here we are. Now, choice edible, late April to early June. In our area, it emerges in May. We'll call it, in mycology, they call it a flush. And the reason we have these mushrooms is to release the spores. And the spore is a perfect DNA imprint of the mother fungus who lives among us. I can't help it. The mycelium, the primary vegetative state, is under the ground. Single to many, on the ground, in old apple orchards and burned areas associated with dead elms. This is exactly where we are today. They also like tulip trees, ash trees, oak tree, beech maple woods. There are many different venues, but for this mushroom forager, I always return to the dying apple orchard with elm trees, with the dying elm. Very important. Throughout North America. And the book goes on to talk about lookalikes, which I've discussed. The comments. There are several different types of morels that are choice and edible. You have black morels, you have gray morels, we have the golden morel, okay? Several different types, many more, but I won't go on. Believe it or not, it says in the book 3 to 6 inches high. I have actually found morels that are 14 inches tall. It's wonderful. The bees are coming home for dinner tonight. As a chef, it's one of my favorite parts about mushroom hunting. I'm going to saute these up. I'm going to make a wonderful wine and butter sauce and cook it over a filet mignon. Mashed potatoes and gravy. Probably asparagus. Good fun. You could put it into an omelet. You could put it into any type of cuisine that you enjoy mushrooms with. These morels, they're wonderful. Now, another part, beyond being safe and making sure that we are identifying the appropriate species, we need to make sure that we use our field guide. We're studying these. We need to be sure that we are sustainable. There's dozens of morels here today. We will be leaving at least half to a third, okay? It's important because the spores will be releasing and finding their substrate, which is all around us. That way we can return year after year and be guaranteed that we will be finding, our morels again and again. Every year is not the same. It tends to ebb and flow, depending on moisture. Moisture is very important and key, okay? So, this is so much fun. I have my crew with me today, my cameramen, my foragers. We're going to be frolicking through the woods, skipping, singing, joyous and free. Such an excellent adventure. Chef Ian Vair, the Mushroom Man. Keep watching. We're almost finished. Don't forget, the second half of this segment, we will be in my certified kitchen. I will be cooking up a wonderful, mysterious meal. We're not finished. I'm going to teach us how to cook this mushroom. why go forage if you're not going to do anything with it? Let's bring it home and let's make a lovely meal with it. Okay, stay tuned. Here we come, a little camera magic. Bam! Yes! We found it! Yes! So much fun. So nice to be a fun guy. Everyone, this is the Golden Morel. May 1st. So exciting. The chef in me is calling. I cannot wait till the second half of this first episode of Mushroom Man. We are going to be making in my kitchen at home an excellent meal. Full recipe. Everyone, this is a recipe that you will be able to duplicate easily at home. So make sure you stay tuned for the second half of this episode. Okay, so when we find this mushroom, we always look for more, but first, I need to take a look at it and make sure that it is exactly what it is. Now, I know it is what it is, but for anyone who is just learning about mycology, very important. I'm going to cut it as low to the ground as we can, not disturbing the mycelium. Perfect. I am going to check this one just so we all know. We cut it in half, and it is hollow. That's what we're looking for. There is a dying elm. There are apple trees, wild apples close by. Exactly the substrates that we want. So, the Mushroom Man is happy. And so will you be happy when you find out what we will be preparing in the kitchen. So stay tuned, like I said. Awesome. Nah. Hello, everyone. We made it from the forest on the cusp of central Vermont and upstate New York. Chef Ian Vair, the Mushroom Man. We have taken our yield of golden morel mushrooms. Take a look at these. They're beautiful. Ooh, don't forget, we checked to make sure that they were not a deadly look-alike, toxic. They are hollow all the way through. This is exactly what we want. We are going to be making today a seared, applewood-wrapped bacon filet mignon topped with Montrachet goat cheese. I'm also making, with our Morels, of course, a lovely red wine butter sauce. I'm also going to have a rosemary roasted potato, along with sauteed green beans with garlic and habanero peppers. The first thing that we always want to do when we're cooking in our kitchen, and remember, this is my home kitchen. You can make this recipe right in your own home. I've procured all of these ingredients, either at my local grocery store or at my local farmer's market. Local, that is the key. Healthy, that is the key. We want local ingredients. We want healthy ingredients. We want to cook at home, okay? This is so much better for our bodies. So many diseases today are caused by the food that we ingest. Such a shame. Let's get started. So these Morels, again, I'm so happy. They're beautiful. Take a look at these, everyone. Unbelievable. But believe it. So let's get started with our sauce. Okay, let me turn my heat up here. We're going to work with a Vidalia onion. And when working with the onions, I like to cut off the top side. Cut it in half. Peel off the skin. We don't need the whole onion. All I'm going to be doing is using just a bit. We don't want this to be an onion sauce. This is a wild golden morel wine and butter sauce. So, Our heat is looking good. We're on high. Sauté, the definition of sauté is high heat, little fat. My oil of choice is avocado oil. Many people believe that sautéing or cooking with extra virgin olive oil is the one that we want to choose. And it's not a bad oil, but the issue with working with olive oil when you're cooking with it, it degrades many of its nutritional qualities. The avocado oil has a much higher smoke point. So we can get this in the pan. Not too much. Teaspoon. Couple teaspoons, maybe. And when this goes into the pan, we want to hear a sizzle. Oh, it's smoking a little bit. That's okay. Let's turn our heat down. I frequently like to begin with very high heat, turn it down to medium. That works just fine. The caramelization is what we're going for. Lovely. Garlic. Okay. Now, it's important with garlic to crush your garlic to remove the skin. Just push down on it a bit. Open it up. And I like to crush and chop my garlic first, generally about 10 minutes before I'm going to use it. And there's a reason behind this. And I actually have some garlic here that I've already chopped to use for the show because we have time constraints. Okay. Now, the reasoning behind chopping our garlic is it has enzymes that it releases. It's called allicin. Not my girlfriend. I'm a fun guy. I gotta tell a few jokes. We chop it up. It's healthier. Now, some people will buy their garlic that's been soaking in water or soaking in oil. And believe it or not, there's been research proving that the enzymes are degraded. After 6 days, the allicin is reduced by 50% in water. In a vegetable oil, that enzyme is lowered 50% in 3 hours. Hard to believe. Okay, my onions look fabulous. Nice caramelization. We want to what is called sweating the garlic. It's just barely going to release that bite that it has to it, so we don't have bad breath walking around all day. Lovely. Okay, now I have some red wine, cooking wine. What will happen here is it will deglaze the pan. It's going to cool the pan down. All right? We don't need much wine. Some of us may say, I don't drink wine, I don't drink alcohol. That's okay, because all of that substance, the alcohol, will be released. It will cook off. Not a big deal. About a half of a cup is what we want. Lovely. All right, nice. That's going along well. Now, the morel mushrooms I've decided to cook separately and then add them in towards the end. And the reason behind this is I don't want them to be mushy. I want a nice texture. Okay, so I have another pan ready to go. I'm going to cut my morel mushrooms in half. All right, this pan looks pretty good. A little more time. Now, while this is cooking, I can talk about our next ingredient that we are going to be cooking. Looks like we want a little more wine. No big deal. That turned out to be about a half of a cup, which is what we want. So while we're waiting on this, I'd like to show us this filet mignon. Beautiful. Marinated for about an hour, believe it or not, with a skosh of balsamic vinegar, salt, pepper, that's it. Okay? I have some very nice locally procured applewood smoked bacon. The bacon is going to go around the outside. I'm going to do my best to tie this on here. Just kind of wrap it in on itself. Okay, that looks good. Wash your hands. Very important that we wash our hands. Cross-contamination is one of the number one reasons that we get food poisoning. Okay, a nice hot pan for our morel mushrooms. Okay, they're going along. I'm going to turn the wine down, and it's just about completely reduced. This is what we want. The key to a butter sauce is temperature. If it's too hot and we add the butter into it, we will not create a nice, what's called an emulsification. So when we emulsify, we need it to be between 80 and 120 degrees. So if it's too hot to touch, it's too hot, okay? For the butter will break. If it's too cold, the butter, it will not emulsify again. So a nice, very warm to the touch. Okay, so while this is cooling down, my mushrooms, oh, these are glorious, these morels. This is so much fun. I'm a fun guy. You gotta have fun. The best part about mushroom foraging and spending time in the wild is we have fun. The best part about cooking at home, beyond the fact that it's a healthy way to go, it's the healthiest manner in treating our bodies. We are what we eat. Okay, we have a nice caramelization. I'm going to add the mushrooms in. The pan is nice and hot. I'm going to be using the same pan. And you don't have to do this at home, but on camera, in my little kitchen, I have to consolidate everything as much as I can. All right. Now we're searing this. And a sear is, again, very hot. It's a lot like a saute. So we're going to cook this for a minute or so on each side. Now I'm kind of a rare, mid-rare steak kind of guy. And if you say, I don't like filet, or maybe it's too expensive, feel free to use a Delmonico, a ribeye, a New York strip, maybe a sirloin. Many options. Lovely. Okay, I'm going to put our mushroom sauce to the side. Filet is searing. Next, that we're, let's see, while the filet is searing, I'm going to begin working on our garlic and rosemary roasted potatoes. We have some nice small russet potatoes. Okay, we don't need too much for this recipe. It's just me. I'm going to be having this for dinner by myself. Now, what's wonderful about these types of recipes, anyone can duplicate these at home. Maybe you have a date. Maybe it's your wife and husband. Maybe you're having a large dinner party and you would like to turn this into 4 or 8 or more. Okay, so our russet, I'm going to be cutting it in half. I'm going to cut it lengthwise in half again, and then again. So I have about 12 pieces. Into a bowl, a little bit of oil, not much. I have some pink Himalayan sea salt, delish. A little bit of black pepper. The garlic, more garlic, lovely. Oh, and our rosemary, okay? Beautiful, beautiful. It's gonna come right off the stem. Anyone who's just tuning in, my name is Chef Ian Vair. You are watching my first episode of an excellent new show called The Mushroom Man. And we went wild mushroom foraging today for golden morels. Central Vermont, on the border of upstate New York, and we found them. Okay, let's turn our filet. We're getting a little hot here, so we're gonna turn it down also. Oh, turn our fan on. We'll pretend because we're on camera. I don't want it to be too loud. My bacon is loosened up just a skosh. No big deal, just a little bit. Turn that down. Okay, the rosemary. Now remember, our knives, they are a tool, but they also, we need a sharp knife. The most dangerous knife in the kitchen is the dullest. Always keep your fingers away from the blade, all right? Either curling your knuckles or keeping it flat. All right, in with those potatoes. Remember, we have our salt, our pink Himalayan sea salt. We have our black pepper, our fresh garlic, and our rosemary. Give that a little toss. This is going to go into a nice pan. Restaurant grade hotel pan is what I have today. You don't have to use that at home. Into the oven. Okay. All right, that's good. The steak looks wonderful. Now I brought along with us Montreschette goat cheese. It's delicious. I'm gonna cut a nice piece of that. Okay, it's gonna go right on our steak, finished in the oven. Yum. Now I'm roasting these potatoes, and the definition of a roast is a high temperature. Okay, so I have the oven at about 400 degrees. All right. Now as a chef, I tend to cook quickly, and particularly on camera, we need to cook as fast as we can, and everything is coordinated. So if it seems like I'm going a little fast, slow it down. So take it easy, have fun. This is great. Okay, so we have our sauce nearly ready to go. Our potatoes and our steak are in the oven. We're going to be steaming our green beans. And you can boil your green beans, you don't have to. These are local organic green beans. And I like to steam first and then saute. When you steam, as opposed to boiling, much more of the nutrients are retained, because when you boil, the nutrients leach out into the water. All right, we're going along here. That looks good. Okay, isn't quite ready yet. Our water's still coming up. So let's go ahead with our sauce. Now, it's a nice temperature. It's still quite warm, but not hot, not burning me to the touch, not cool. That's what we want with our butter. I like to use unsalted butter. For this, and one of the keys to an emulsification with butter is you start with just a little bit first, okay? And I want just a little bit of heat, okay? Okay, motion. We want motion in the pan, all right? Let this first little piece of butter emulsify. Create the beginning of this emulsification. Okay, and as it melts, we're gonna add a little bit more. Mushroom man, we can all cook like the mushroom man. Gotta have fun in the kitchen. I'm a fun guy, why not? All right, excellent. So this is melting, emulsifying, I should say. Now remember, this is a golden Morel red wine butter sauce. Over top of our apple smoked wood bacon filet mignon, topped with Montreschette goat cheese. I'm so excited. Okay, our sauce is looking good. I'm just gonna set that to the side. Now our green beans, I like to snip off the top, okay? All right, you see where the stem is there? I'm gonna pull that off. Organic local green beans. We're gonna go right in, maybe 5 minutes, maybe. Meanwhile, I'm gonna turn my pan on, because remember, we are sauteing these green beans, okay? So let's turn the pan on. All right, what's next? We still have some of our garlic. Now, we all do not need to use a habanero pepper. Personally, I like spicy, but this is an easy ingredient to omit. But I'm taking the stem off. These are hot. When you're cutting into this, do not touch your eyes. Do not touch your eyes when you're cutting into this. It is not fun. So, I'm gonna cut in half. I believe I only need about half of the habanero. It's quite large for a habanero. All right, set that aside. We're going to continue on with our butter sauce. All right, let's see here. How's everybody doing at home? Chef Ian Vair, the Mushroom Man. I'm so pleased that we've stayed tuned to watch the rest of my show. We spent the first half in the wild, foraging, talking about safety and sustainability and reading field guides, identifying factors, what time of year, what substrates. Substrate is the mushroom's food source. And today we found them in a wild apple orchard, crab apples, coupled with dying elm. And most of the ones that we found were actually around the elm trees. And we will return to that same patch 3 weeks in a row, okay? They're only out for about 3 weeks. So with morel mushrooms, it's the type of species that we need to be right on top of. We need to know when they are going to be flushing and what that means. If someone says, well, what's a flush? That's when the mushrooms, which is the fruiting body, which releases the spores, emerge. Okay? Very important. What's also important is that we have an expert with us. If we don't know what we're doing out there, we do not want to pick the wrong mushrooms. So experience is extremely important. Okay, the sauce looks very nice. All right, it's off the heat. Green beans, just about ready to go. Let me take a look here. They have been steaming, remember. Al dente. That's delicious. Al dente means firm to the tooth. That's a French term. I am a culinary French trained chef. We don't all need to be chefs to cook like this at home. That's why I'm here to inspire, to teach. Okay, excuse me. Let's get a little oil in the pan. We're sauteing, high heat, little fat, about a teaspoon. Green beans in. Yum. Oh, I'm so happy. It's good to be a fun guy. Nice sauce. Delicious green beans. They're basically cooked at this point, but we're giving them a little bit of caramelization. What happens when we caramelize? We enhance the flavor. Okay, let's check on what we have. Oh, yum! All right, what else do we have here? We are so close. We are almost ready to plate up. All right, so close. Okay, the potatoes have not been in very long, but Chef Ian has a few tricks up his sleeve. He likes to play TV magic. The potatoes, woo! 400-degree ovens hot. Wow, our filet mignon, almost there. We are almost there. We need about 2 more minutes for our steak. And remember, our filet is wrapped with smoked applewood bacon. It's topped with Montrachet goat cheese. We have a lovely morel mushroom red wine butter sauce. Such a delicious meal for our first episode of The Mushroom Man. We've taken all of this information, all of this fun from the wild into a small, local, private kitchen and cooked everything in about 15 to 20 minutes. It's amazing. Okay, so I'm going to get ready to plate. Before I do that, I'm going to finish this up with a little bit of garlic. Yum. Remember, we have our habanero peppers, and I like them in at the last moment also. If you cook them too much, it can bother your eyes, okay? And that's another reason why it's fine to leave this ingredient out. We don't have to, if you don't like garlic, you don't have to use garlic. If you don't like green beans, feel free to saute up some spinach or cook up some asparagus. All right. Oh, yes. Yes. Okay, and I am only seasoning today with salt, Himalayan sea salt that is, and black pepper. Simple ingredients, healthy local ingredients. That's the key to Chef Ian's cooking. Local, healthy, delicious, abundant, fabulous. Okay, let's take our steak out. Let me get my plate. Filet mignon. She looks like she's about medium rare. Wonderful. Garlic, rosemary, roasted potatoes. Delish. Delish. Garlic, habanero, green beans. Get a little more garlic in there. A few more green beans. Let's make this plate look nice. Episode 1, Mushroom Man. Okay, of course, our sauce. Wild golden morel mushrooms with red wine and butter sauce. Right over top. Get some nice mushrooms, everyone. Oh, I'm even gonna give the potatoes some of this flavor. Excellent, excellent. I can't wait. So, here we are. I'd like to show this to the audience. Look at this plate. 15 to 20 minutes was all it took. Thank you so much, everyone, all of my audience, for joining me. Chef Ian Vair, the Mushroom Man. Please join me for my next episode of Mushroom Man. We will be foraging, finding a different species, creating a completely different recipe, creating these in my home kitchen, something that anyone watching can duplicate at home. A wonderful, wonderful, wonderful process. Don't be afraid. Don't be scared. Be courageous. Okay? You can do it. We all can. We all have the ability to cook food like this. Healthy, local, inexpensive, delicious. Thanks again for joining me. Chef Ian, much appreciated. Join me again on The Mushroom Man. Have a great day, everyone.